Peace and blessings and namaste to all light warriors, workers, and everything in between. It is I, Sophie, today. And yes, I have been MIA for a little bit, but for those of you who know, I have still been in a fight with the county, and when it comes down to distributing the funds and where the money needs to go. So thank you, first of all, one of my sisters who felt me energetically and reached out to me yesterday to go ahead and give me a prayer. I appreciate that. I don't know who was talking to you, but Empress, I love you for that. Okay, thank you. I'm having a hard time keeping this phone steady. Okay, I'll give you a second. Give me a second. All right. Now, with that being said, you know, I have been MIA, have taken a little bit of self-care and things like that, you know, did a little retail therapy, you know, little things, but that's not why I'm giving this transmission. I'm giving this transmission to, you know, the L's and the judges. All right, because even though I have not had an opportunity to talk with a lot of you one-on-one, it's enough of you that is describing a certain experience that I thought that it was beneficial to go ahead and do a video about it. Okay, especially for you divine masculines, because you're not quite sure what's going on in the realms. Okay, and I'm going to tell you. So if you're having dreams, okay, some of you have been describing tall beings like you're in combat. Okay, tall beings that are holding swords and stuff like that, wanting to fight you. And you're getting owned out there. Let's be real. You're getting owned out there. You're getting owned out there because you don't really know your power yet. Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm rushing. Okay. You don't really understand your power yet. It's important for you to know that you're not going to get harmed out there. Okay. Some of these beings that you're describing, tall with swords, 50-foot, 60-foot beings. Some of you are describing primordial looking beings, like ether beings, very, very dark. You're standing there, you know, you're about the size of their foot and whatnot. They're punching you around the place and you're just flying, you know, you're not getting your footing. You're getting owned out there. Okay. And I don't want you to be upset about that fact, because the simple thing is, these are your ancestors. Okay, number one, these are your ancestors, and this is your testing ground. This is your training ground. They're not here to hurt you. They are here to prepare you, though. Okay, it's one thing if you're a boxer and a fighter out here on this 3D realm and you're owning some humans, but what happens when you come face to face with an L? All right, even Jacob had to wrestle with an angel. Do you understand what I'm saying? These things do happen. So when you're in those realms and, you know, you're fighting against a huge being, it's not for you to stand in that way and try to fight against that being, but you have to tap into your power and get huge too. I went through that training in 2020. All right, where I had to really discover my power. So when they were big and fighting with me, I had to get big and fight with them. So I just decided to swallow mine. You know, that's just how I do things. This is how it, you know, it's just swallow. The point of the matter is, hold on, I'm still fixing this. Sorry. Okay. The point of the matter is, all of this is for training for you. Okay. Your ancestors are trying to see if you are battle ready, battle tested. All right. So if you're out there and you get owned, your job is to go back in that realm and go, okay, I'm ready now. Okay. Call upon your higher self, grow yourself, and combat with them. You know, fight with them. You know, they're just simply training you to make sure you are battle ready. What did I tell you? We have no fear in this realm, okay? We have identified with who we are. Okay, we're awakening to who we are. We are awakening to our power. We're awakening to our strength. We are awakening to our higher self. So when you're out there in those realms, you need to embrace that and own it, okay? And impress your ancestors. And if you can get past, you know, if you can survive in those realms and things of that nature, they'll kneel and give you homage, right? Okay, so this is what you're doing. And for the one that was fighting against the angel with the giant sword, he's a gatekeeper. That's a general, okay? So he's not expecting you to defeat him. He's just expecting you to last. Now, I can go and do a video and explain a lot of these concepts in a lot more detail. But another thing that I wanted to just throw out there for you is, not only are some of you masculines, going out in these realms and in your dream states and finding yourself combating, you know, other beings or huge beings or this, that, and another for your training, your ancestors, but other scenarios are coming up too. And I need for you to pay attention to this. For those of you who have been called to sit on councils as judges, certain scenarios may be brought to you in your dream realm. Either they are testing you to figure out if you are wise enough to make righteous decisions when it comes down to judge, or you're actually judging cases. Okay, now here's what happened to me maybe about 3 or 4 nights ago. I just didn't get around to doing a video about it, but I think it's important that you know. So as I'm laying, across my bed watching Nope, which I think was a really good movie, but I saw it esoterically. Okay, just to be honest, I thought it was a good movie. I actually ended up watching it twice. Okay, but as I was laying across my bed, watching Nope and eating some crackers, all of a sudden, the clairsentient starts kicking in, and I'm starting to feel waves of vibrations across my body, and I am ignoring it, guys. I'm ignoring it, and I'm ignoring it because I want to watch the movie, right? And so when my little sister knocks on the door, and then she decides to enter in, she tells me that it feels crowded in there. She's like, oh my God, what's going on? It's a lot of confusion. I'm like, oh, great, okay? So I go ahead, I pause my movie, I tap in, and I try to figure out. And when I'm tapping in, I stare off into space because I'm seeing things with my single eye. Well, there was a lot of beings in my room that day. A lot of beings in my room, okay? Because there was a case that was being presented by one of your ancestors, okay? I don't know if one of you may have had somebody just cross over recently, but I'm going to say it's one of yours because it had to be somebody that knows what I do. Okay, it has to be somebody that knows what I do. So maybe it was one of you who have been watching me, but one of your ancestors crossed over. And this is a woman, okay? And this woman was being charged with murder, like spiritual murder, not physical murder, spiritual murder. Because what was happening was this ancestor was in an abusive relationship and had went to the police about it, have moved a couple of times and could not get any help. So what she did was reach back into her ancestry and started tapping into some of her ancestors who advised her on root work. And when she did this root work, okay, she actually killed that mate. Okay, I don't know if that was intentional, but I do know that she was trying to get away with it. She was trying to protect herself. She was trying to protect her children. And so the case was being brought, and there was like 2 factions that was really, really arguing, debating about it, because the one faction said, we don't care. And not that we don't care, but there is a principle, a law that was just brought. And that law was thou shalt not murder. Okay, so this was a law that was broken, and she should be judged according to the law. And the other half of the faction was explaining that this law was in self-defense, and the one law that has never been mentioned is self-preservation. So this faction was arguing that point too, and I'm sitting there listening, and I got 2 of them. 2 of them going through. I ask the appropriate questions, I get the appropriate answers. The truth of the matter is, to make a long story short, okay, because I can't really get into detail about how detailed this was, but really it was, okay? To make a long story short, that ancestor, if it's one of yours, has been granted amnesty, okay? Because there was a loophole. And remember what I always taught you. I taught you based on what my ancestor Sloth taught me. The only way to overcome a law is with a higher law. Right? So we had to implement higher laws. We had to implement principles of understanding. And we had to convince those who were sitting on the judges to give this lady amnesty and to maybe go back to school in higher realms as opposed to having her energy diminished. I'm saying all of that to say this to you. Some of you, honeys, when you're finding yourself in these type of... I swear, today is just not my thing. Lord have mercy. Okay. When you find yourself in these type of scenarios where you're overthinking and you're having cases and you're feeling like you have to judge these cases, or there's beings coming to you in the dream realm, if there's beings coming to you that's in visions, more in your single eye and your third eye, it's because you are on that council now. Now, I told y'all a couple of months that we were being recruited. A couple of months back, I told y'all that many of you were going to be called to sit on councils as judges. I'm actually seeing these councils and judges now. okay? I'm actually seeing some of the cases that are being brought forth, okay? When it comes down to earth law, when it comes down to celestial law, when it comes down to universal principles, what's going to trump what? You know, at time, and I keep telling you, you have to pay attention to the intentions of the heart, okay, when it comes down to these matters. Congratulations to many of you who have either been called to combat and getting owned out there, or you're being called to sit on councils and judge. Pay attention to your dreams, okay? Pay attention to where your mind goes when you are astral traveling. Pay attention to the thoughts that come forth, okay? Nobody's sitting around making up counsels and scenarios, all right? These things are actually happening. And the reason why they are happening is because we're into that season now where we're really started to separate. So now certain energies have to be held accountable. Either it's going to be karmic, okay, where we're going to, they're going to recycle and have to do things all over again. Or if it's something that is considered unredeemable, then what happens is that energy goes ahead and gets diminished, dissolved, and then it comes back and tries it again. Okay, your ancestor was very, very afraid of being judged, okay? Very afraid of what was going to happen to her in the afterlife. And sometimes we die in our belief systems. And when we die in our belief systems, we manifest that belief system. So if she was dying, or if she crossed over in the belief system that she was getting ready to go to hell and be tormented for all eternity, that's the mindset that she carried with her and why she refused to go to the light. Okay, she knew that this was going to be a season where we have to be judged according to our merits, our actions, you know, what our contracts were on this earth. Did we honor them, you know, or did we just go our own way? It's always free will, okay? You always have a choice, okay? But understand that when you have these free will choices, you do have to deal with consequences behind them. Very, very, very simple. Well, this woman thought that she was going to be condemned to hell. We don't have the hells anymore. We've been done away with that, okay? We've done away with that, right? Now, it's one of those things where, you know, either you evolve and go to a higher state of consciousness and keep on growing, okay? Or you have to repeat the cycle. Very, very simple, right? So first giving her that understanding that we're not here to torment you. No souls need to be tormented. What type of sickening mess is that? Okay, we're not here to torment you for all eternity, you know. But even understanding what her plight and what her fight was important. Now, she had grown up in a religious system. Pay attention to what I'm getting ready to say to you, because this is the part that's going to be very, very important to you. All right? She grew up in a religious system, okay, passed down to her mom, dad, all of that stuff, all right? But what she realized was when she would pray, she wouldn't receive any help, right? Or that her prayers weren't being acknowledged, that people around her wasn't acknowledging her issue, her pain. So what she decided to do was take matters in her own hand, because let's get one thing straight. Let's understand this. Nobody prays to a God that ignores them. All right? When people pray to gods or idols or angels or any of those things, typically it's because they are getting results from it. So now if you're being taught or trained that, you know, this is a holy being and this person is going to provide or protect you, and you're praying and praying and praying and you're not getting that, then something clicks in the mind that either A, this is false, or B, this person ain't messing with me. This is not my El. This is not my God. And she had gotten to that point in her journey because nothing was being answered for her. And when she got that point in her journey, her ancestors introduced her to other types of magic to allow her to protect herself. Now, she didn't know exactly what she was doing. Okay? She didn't know what she was doing. She didn't know that it was going to end up in the death of a mate. But I'm telling you this to tell you this. Okay? I'm saying all of this to say all of this. I don't know how else to say it, right? I'm just letting you know that things like this do happen. Okay? Things like this do happen. And what did I say? The only way to beat the law is with a higher law. You have to understand where you stand in this realm right now. Walk in your power. Walk in your authority. Don't be afraid of anything. Okay? Understand that God consciousness that lies within you. Go through your training and be very, very fruitful with that training. Okay? That is all that I am here to say. I am Sophie, and I love you all. I gotta go in. Bye-bye.